Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Kel.
And this is Misfit.
And we are here with our official Power Rankings. This is our first Power Ranking of the season, and this will be continually updated throughout the season. But this is going to be our initial going into the season.
Okay, guys, here's part 2 of our Power Rankings, starting with number 9 on the list. So let's move on to who we have at number 9, and that would be the Hangzhou Spark.
Yeah.
The boys in pink.
So, I this is probably the team that we as, together, that we're very divided, that we're, the most divided on. And then in general, because,
And I'm talking this is, for me, it was more to start.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is, I don't know, this team is weird, because they have, this is another team that has immense potential.
And they have massive hype all of a sudden.
Yeah, and they have, their hype train has been going off the rails lately. It is building and just, it's getting ridiculous right now.
all the casters, I saw one, either Brent or Sideshow said top 4.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
dial
it back.
Yeah. Let's get these guys on the big stage. The one thing that they do have, some of these guys played in the World Cup. They played in Korean contenders where they were playing on LAN. I will give them that.
Yes.
I don't think they're better than Vancouver as far as the expansion teams go.
Right.
And they're not better than London. They're not better than New York. And
they're not better than the Gladiators.
No. So, are they close? Fuck yeah, they're close.
Oh yeah. They're going to be right up there. But to start, I don't think it's going to be this oh my god, they're running away with it.
Yeah, it's not going to be like the NYXL for the first 3 stages last year.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
If it happens,
hey,
they'll move up in the rankings later on as we see them go. They're getting tested the first minute they step on stage too.
Yes.
Because first off, actually it's going to be pretty divided, because I was going to say the whole arena is going to be rooting for Shanghai. But people are into the pink jerseys and they're all up in that, so they're rooting for the Spark. But they're going to figure out what goes on in this league minute 1.
Yeah. That being said, they did, like we said, you got a lot of these guys have played on the big stage before, so they know how that works. So that's going to be a big advantage for them. But then it's, at the same time, they are 2 different teams that are coming together.
Got language barriers and all that. The same stuff that we've been talking about.
Exactly. Language barriers. You've got cohesion and chemistry that you have to build over time.
Yeah.
I don't care how great you are, you have to, it's going to take time to build that chemistry with your teammates.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to play in real live games. Practice is only going to do so much with that.
That's on your own. Think about when you're playing on ladder or whatever. You go in the training room, you're like, wow, I'm hitting headshots all over the place. You get into a live game and you're like, I can't hit a headshot to save my life.
Right.
It's like that,
And then even more so when you're adding in, I didn't know that this guy was going to do this at this time, and it's all that stuff is only going to come with time.
Yeah, exactly. And I would watch, I would like to see Gushue play a lot. Mm-hmm. And Crystal. I think those 2 guys are going to be great. Yes. But they have some other good guys on that team, and we're not going to dive more into the team aspect. We already talked about that. Watch a couple of our other episodes. So let's move it up to number 8, where we have the Los Angeles Valiant. They didn't really do anything.
Right. They still have a solid enough roster that I'm not going to knock them down to 15 or anything like that.
They're not bad.
But they definitely did not do enough to move themselves up the rankings.
They were one of the teams that kind of just stayed the course. They kind of kept their roster. Soon left. Is it that big of a deal? I don't know yet.
We don't know yet. Yeah, we really don't. Because you have a player like Kareev moving up over to DPS, who I think is going to be a really underrated move until it's not. And people realize how good Kareev is.
I mean, if they watched last year at all.
Right.
He had some struggles, but he hadn't played. It's one of those things. He's been grinding now. They just threw him in the middle of it in stage 2.
Right.
It's a different mindset. I just think that their tank line is so good.
Yes.
That it's going to save them a lot. Like it did last year. Their tank line's
good. Their DPS is probably the biggest question, but it's still going to be solid. And then they have a really good support line as well. So I think that they're going to be...
And they have leaders like Costa.
Yes.
That keep the good energy flowing.
Right. The biggest thing that's going to hurt this team is, even with the additions that they've made and everything, the big thing that held them back last year was they just didn't have that player that could take over and win them a game. I think that's going to be the thing that holds this team back. Unless...
Like a DPS or a Jonecki support kind of...
Right. Unless it becomes Kareev.
Yeah.
That's really the biggest question, is if can Kareev be that player? I think he has the potential to, but we just don't know until we see it.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to have... The one thing about playing DPS on that team is you're going to have a lot of space.
Yeah.
Because, well, space. and envy.
Yeah.
I was not trying to make a joke there either. They're good. They open up so much fate. Did I say envy?
Because Envy's on Toronto.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
But
here I go with the names. It's my preseason still too. It's not going to change.
But yeah, still, even that, like, he's one of those players that's just, when we talk about like really good main tanks, for whatever reason, he's just not like the first player that comes to mind, but he should be, because he's right up there as like absolutely a top 5 tank.
If I was to go top 3, it would be Fate, Gesture, Fissure.
Yeah.
Or Oge. I haven't figured out which one. They're interchangeable at this point to me. Because Fissure's he's hard to figure out. That's a discussion for later.
Yeah.
So let's move up to number 7. We have, are you guys ready for this one? We're not on this train this year.
No.
The San Francisco Shock.
I think these guys are...
This is one of the picks that we had.
Yeah, that we were right on with it. And I think that this team, they have all the talent in the world, but is it going to be enough? And then also, is it really even that much talent?
Yeah, I have questions in a lot of spots.
6 Tracer players.
Yeah. Yeah, they have too many DPS players. Their supports are good.
Yes.
Their tanks are average.
Yeah.
And I would like them to see Striker play a lot, because I'm not going to say Sinatra flopped. He's one of those guys. I mean, when I was 17, I was the cockiest motherfucker on the planet.
Right.
I'm sorry. And you give me $150,000?
It's only going to get worse.
It would have been horrible for all of you guys. I'll tell you that. And your head gets a little bit bigger than the game. Mm-hmm. And he needs a little knockdown. And I think he needs to learn from guys like Striker and a couple of the other guys on that team. Because Architect is fantastic. Striker's fantastic. The rest of the guys, like certain guys on that team, I don't even think are going to see the light of day.
Yeah. There's definitely some guys that are not, like, we probably will not see Baby Bay play at all.
I mean, where are you gonna play him? At some soldier map?
Who are you gonna play him over?
Yeah, you gonna play him over Striker? No.
No.
Architect? No. Sinatra?
Yeah, you're gonna play him over Sinatra. Yeah.
No. I'm not saying Sinatra's bad either.
No.
I just think he needs a little ego crush.
Yeah, he needs a little bit of humbling.
Yeah.
To really reach his full potential, he needs to be a little more humble and realize the things that he does well, the things that he can fix, and
he might not get in, though. If Striker and Architect go off, I just think there's a lot of questions with this team that people are not raising.
I think one of the big things that is in their favor is Krusty being a coach and then having time he's had the whole off season to game plan and just develop
make this work.
Yeah, and develop like a game plan for the whole team and just a blueprint for how they want to play. So I think that's going to help them a lot. But I feel like they're going to get in their own way more than anything else.
Yeah. Right now, I don't see them not having to go into the play-in.
Yeah.
Could they win that play-in tournament? Probably.
Right.
They have enough talent to do that, but I don't.
But they also have enough talent to not even be bothered with it.
Yeah.
To just get one of those final spots where you're just guaranteed a playoff spot.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting. This is going to be one of those teams that is going to be really fascinating to watch this season.
Yeah, because they're either going to grow and become better and stronger, or they're going to fail and be like those, fuck this.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But I hope they don't. But I see them at 7 is a good spot for them.
Yeah.
Now, next, we have the last of our expansion teams. We have the Vancouver Titans, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Weirdly, this is a team that is not getting, like, we're loving this team probably more than some of the others. Like, they're ranked kind of lower in some of the other power rankings, which I'm surprised by because, like, this is basically a full roster of players that have played really, really well together.
Yeah.
And then they've been put in a great environment, and I don't know, like
a great organization.
Yeah, just a great organization.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're obviously they won contenders. That was season 3. They have been in the mix in that forever. And the only thing that's going to hurt them to start is, I think is the early season kind of nerves, jitters, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is big time.
Right.
You're stepping. You're not playing. Last night's leftovers. Not that they ever played them, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Like those kind of teams are like the bottom of the barrel contenders teams.
But they're not going to have to.
Are going to be good.
The biggest thing for them is they're not going to have to build that cohesion, that chemistry,
and all that stuff.
All of that. Like, they already have that. They even brought over some of their coaches. Like, they're of all of the expansion teams, they are the most complete, ready to go, to compete right away.
And they were good to begin with.
Right.
Everyone said last year they should have been signed. But you know what? Here they are this year. I see them top, at the 6th spot right now, just because the other teams have more experience.
Right. That's really the biggest harp on them is they just don't have the Overwatch League experience that our top 5 teams have.
Yeah, and it's the equivalent of taking a AAA baseball team and throwing them into the majors now with the amount of teams there are. Right. Last year, like if they were an expansion team, it wouldn't have happened. But like in the middle of the season, I would have put them in the top 3.
Oh yeah. For sure.
But, right now, I think making it into the playoffs is going to be not a sure thing, as close to a sure thing as you're going to get for any of the expansion teams at least.
Yeah. And also, like, they're going to be competing for stage playoffs as well.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind. Maybe not the first stage, but later ones for sure.
We'll see. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
Some teams, like the next team, could go in a bad direction, but I don't think they are. And that's the Seoul Dynasty. I had them higher. And one spot.
Yeah.
Our top 7 was pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty
much the
close.
same thing. I think those are the only two variation.
The Titans and the Shock we had in the same place. I think and then we had the next 2 flipped.
Yeah. So Seoul is going to be another team that's going to be better.
Yeah.
They're going to be better because Fisher's there. They're also going to be better because of some of the other players they picked up, a better coaching staff. I think for guys like Rujie Hong, he's got a better meta than having to play Zen all the time.
Yeah, and I think...
Or Winston.
Yeah. God. Well, so I think that goes to show right there that their coaching decisions were just god-awful last year, and we talked about that so much.
I lost my mind quite a few times.
Oh my god! Deservedly so, though, because it was a dumpster fire at times with some of the decisions they were making.
And the amount of there were matches where they were flipping guys like every map.
Right, it was all over the place, and they couldn't build any momentum anytime. And like anytime you feel like okay, they're really starting to pull it together, the next map or the next match they'd play, they would bust out some weird stuff. And you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, Rujie Hong on Winston.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think he was just doing I want to help my team.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I can't fault Rujie Hong for that, but that is 100% poor coaching and just poor management decisions in general. But they've completely overhauled their management and their coaching structures.
Roster for like their backups and stuff like that. Like, they got rid of all the guys that they kept throwing in, like Guido and Zephyr and Kuki, all those guys.
All these guys who they're not bad players, but like didn't have any chemistry with the other players, and then no one could build any chemistry because they were constantly switching and changing up who was playing, and it was
Bunchkin.
Bunchkin. Oh my god,
Bunny Munchkin. Yeah,
and I think that some stability is going to help players like Fleta. I think, and then Rouge Hong as well.
And then you got Zumba and Fisher.
Yeah. I think those guys are going to have a really, really good season.
And I think the thing that plays for someone like Fleta is Fisher's, we all know Fisher's aggressive.
Yeah.
Which is great if you're a god DPS player like Fleta.
Yeah.
And
because they're all focused on Fisher, he can just pick off guys and really
Zumba's
run amok.
Got kind of lost in the shuffle last year as an off tank. I think he's gonna play a big role in this too.
I think he's gonna have a way better season and just be much more consistent, because I think he's gonna get much more consistent playing time.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the biggest factor for him.
Yeah, and I think they're running with Munchkin, and they have another DP. Off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but I think on paper now, this should be the team that everyone thought they were going to be last year.
Yeah,
is going to be this year.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not going to be as dominant as everybody thought they were going to be last year, just because we learned that, there's some really good other teams that are going to prevent that.
I remember calendar-wise, about this time last year, I was saying, are Seoul going to lose a game?
Yep.
They are.
Yeah, many.
Yeah, because, London and
New York.
And New York, and
Gladiators.
And Philadelphia. And the Gladiators.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Valiant.
Yeah.
They just underperformed, and then it got to a point where it was just...
It was just a mess.
They were late season Dallas.
Right.
Let's move on now to number 4. Number 4. We have the Philadelphia Fusion.
Last year's grand finals runner-up. Yeah, last year's grand finals runner-up.
Surprise runner-up.
Yes. No, I don't think anybody expected them to get as far as they did, especially at the beginning of the season. Definitely we did not.
No.
But no one really had any idea how this team was going to be last year. And then they had so many questions. You had 9 different languages spoken on this team.
And your real main tank was suspended for the first 30 games?
Yeah.
In Sato? They did okay. They were in the stage playoffs with Fraggy on the main tank.
Yeah.
Which
I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No.
But the real renaissance for this team was EQO.
Yeah.
Just a complete no-name coming out of nowhere and playing at the high level that he did, and just no one could match it.
And there are things about him other than his mechanical godlike skills that he has. It was a lot of the gamesmanship and the smarts and all of the game sense, shot calling, knowing where people are going to be, knowing, alt tracking. He was just good at all that stuff.
Right. And then you're pairing that with a player of Carpe's ability.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to beat. And then you have their really strong support line in Neptuno and Boombox, who were probably the most underrated supports in all of the league.
Yeah.
Then you get Poco, who is just like a god diva.
Yeah.
And last year you had him and Hoppa playing with, they were
trying
for
to
playing time, and for the most part it worked. I
think they were trying to figure out too. There was a point where they were trying to figure out Poco and Fraggy work better together, and Sato and Hoppa. There was that whole they had 2 tank lines that they were kind of flipping in and out, and then they finally were just fuck it. These 2 guys are the best.
Yeah, we're just going to play the best, the best players that we have, and now those 2 have more time to really get with each other, because Sato's got time to really sink into it and play, and he's going to not be suspended for the first 30 games.
Yeah.
So that's going to be if it was 30 games this season, he wouldn't play at all.
Yeah, he would be done.
Because
he got suspended for the first 3 stages, and that they had to meld him in on the 4th stage, and by the time the playoffs came around, they surprised everybody. They beat New York. And
this team, their play style is just so
aggressive.
Yes, intensely aggressive, and I really think that's going to continue no matter what the meta is, no matter what.
Yeah,
this team is going to be really, really damn good.
And I'm going to throw this out there: a good match that's going to happen. I don't know exactly when. Would be Seoul and Philadelphia. Just super aggressive, super, frenetic pace kind of teams.
Yes.
That's going to be a good match to watch. I can't wait for that one.
For
sure. I can't wait for any of them, really.
Oh, I know, right?
Until the Mayhem play, and then I'm going to lose my fucking mind. But, let's move on to better teams.
Yes.
So, number 3, we have the LA Gladiators.
Yeah.
They upgraded in some spots, kind of. I guess.
So they're not only
good.
did they had a really good roster to start. They had a really good support line. They have a very good off tank. They have some really good DPS players. Then they go and add probably the top main tank that they could have added
in Roar.
Roar. And then they get one of the top DPS players
in DK.
In Decay.
Are we going Decay or DK or?
I think it's Decay.
Okay. No, because I've heard people do it different.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to say Decay because that's just a cooler name too, honestly. Because DK, I just think of Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And that's just weird. But if I'm going to think of Donkey Kong, it's going to be a main tank player that's playing as Winston.
Yeah. DK.
But by adding those two to an already really talented roster, and we already know, because Roar and Fissure have similar play styles, and I think Roar is going to be an excellent fit for this team, and that is the exact type of main tank that they need to really perform well, and we already know how well they perform when they have a main tank of that caliber.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're adding a guy like Decay on top of it, with Surefour, with Hydration. This team is going to be really, really good.
Yes, I'm assuming we're gonna get some Hydration. Hydration had one of his heroes deleted from him.
Yeah.
In Doomfist, but he's still good on the Pharah and Genji.
Yeah.
But I want to see what Decay can do here.
Absolutely.
Because he's kind of a phenom. I don't think he's going to come in and set the world on fire. Because he's a kid. He's like 17.
Yeah, so, I think he just turned 18.
Yeah. So that's hard.
Yeah, it's really tough, but you're putting him alongside Surefour, who is a veteran of this game, who's been playing it forever.
And a bunch of the other guys, too. And the coaches are good. They're going to be up there.
Yeah, guys. This is going to be a really good team. This is probably one of my favorite teams in the league. I loved watching these guys last year. And I was so bummed with the whole Fissure thing just because they had so much potential. And I really felt like they could have at least gone to the grand finals.
Yeah.
If they had everything together, and I still
feel... Sure didn't look like it the first match, and then London was like, no. Yeah. They gave Prophet some pizza and sat him down and said, go do your thing, bud.
Yeah.
Kill everybody.
Exactly. But this team is going to be really good, and I think they're going to be competing for stage playoff and overall playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. So let's move on.
I would be surprised if they, at any point in the year in our rankings, if they fall below 6.
Yeah, I would. That would really surprise me. So let's move on to number 2, and that is New York Excelsior. I mean, what else can we say about this team? They didn't really. They added Nene and Flower.
Yeah, so just stacking the DPS like San Francisco, but the difference is their support line are gods.
Yeah, I mean, you have hands down the best support line in the league. You have the MVP of last year in Jonak. You have probably the best main healer in Arc. So, I mean, that right there is going to elevate you up. And then you add on top of that, you have now full-time Mano and Meko.
Yeah.
No Janice coming in and switching things up.
Certain situations. You got Libro, who's, your Swiss Army knife guy.
Jack of all trades is almost nearly elite at just about every hero in the game.
Yeah. And if you guys are playing fantasy, look for this guy.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's going to be very few times when you don't see him in there. The only way is if some kind of weird double sniper meta comes in.
Double sniper,
but he's
double hit scan, but he's still really good at those. So.
Yeah, he's good at Hanzo. Yeah. So, you're going to take him out?
Right.
And then you add Nene in there, who's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
They're stacked.
Yeah, this team is ridiculous.
It's not going to be much different than last year.
Right.
I think they might lose a couple more games because there's a couple more really, really good teams.
Right.
But I think that's the case for everybody.
But honestly, that could probably be better for them and will keep them more engaged
And that they have to win.
Yes. And I think that's going to make them an even more dangerous team.
Yeah, I think that's why the season got shortened up, too. I think the have-to-win stuff has to be there.
Yeah.
Because stage 4, I mean, how many of us were like...
let's just get to these playoffs already.
Yeah. Okay, so by deductive reasoning, you know who the number 1 team is on our list.
Yep.
The London Spitfire.
As they should be.
Champions.
Former champs, or not former champs. They're the current champs. Defending champions of the league for good reason. Yeah. This is top to bottom one of the most stacked rosters in the league. When they're playing at their peak, there's no one can beat them.
No one can come close to them.
Yeah.
There are times when New York, plays at their best, they could get beat. If London, if all of these guys are clicking, they just absolutely murder everybody.
Yeah, they are, and their adeptness at making adjustments and just doing the things that they need to do to win. They just have guys that everyone can make a big play that can
that's the thing.
Completely turn a game over. Like you have Gesture, who is probably the best main tank in the league.
Yeah,
you have.
Fury, best off tank in the league.
Yeah. Then you have probably the best DPS line in Prophet and Birdring when they're at their peak. Because there were times where Birdring was kind of off, but when he's at his peak, there's not a team that is better.
Yeah. I mean, how many... And then Badosin is number 2 frag Zenyatta.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean...
And their support line is probably their weakest spot.
And it's not terrible.
And it's not bad. And
that's improve almost every other team in the league. That is
really, grasping at straws to say that that's, their weak spot.
Maybe main healer.
Yeah. And that's it.
And Nuss.
But even Nuss he is a very good player.
Yeah.
So, but when you have 5 guys out there who can make a big play that is completely game-changing...
Yeah.
I mean, how do you compete against that?
You
and that's one of the big things for a lot of these other teams is they don't have any players that can do that. Where with London, they have 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how many times you're like, oh, Birdring's off. Oh, well, never mind. Don't need Birdring because...
Prophet just got a triple kill.
Badosin, clicked 9 heads in a fucking 2-minute span.
Oh, Gesture just got a huge shatter that... Or went on his... went into... monkey rage and just knocked 4 players off the
point,
freaking point or whatever.
And they were the best at just holding on to fights.
That is 100%
unbelievable at doing that.
How many times last year?
All right, this fight's gonna end.
Yeah, this fight is over. They only have 1 person alive. How are they still holding this? Oh, the whole team is back. They just won. What just happened? So many times with this team, where they could just. 1 person could hold a point against an entire other team is unreal.
Unbelievable. How many times Fury did that so much? And then
Fury
did enough alt charge where he would just drop, a diva bomb on the cart or whatever. Yep. Everyone would clear out for a minute. He would still be there, and then the rest of them would be back.
Yep.
If Birdring had picked somebody off from 9 miles away with Widow.
Just incredible at buying time and keeping the fight alive. Yeah. I don't think there's any team that is better at it than they are.
No. And the only team that came close was Philadelphia.
Yeah, right. And that is another strong suit for Philly that we didn't talk about, is just their ability to keep a fight alive and just not give up. When it comes down to those last 30 seconds in a match and you get into overtime,
you're going to have your hands full.
These teams are so good at it.
Yeah. And, I mean, London's the best. So... It's just hard to beat them. When they went on that weird end of stage 2 or stage 3 and stage 4 there, they were so burnt out. I think it was just because talent-wise, they're the best team in the league.
And again, this is another team that's going to really benefit from the shortened schedule. Yeah. And then also what they ended up doing last year, halfway through the season, when they're just this is our roster. These are the guys that they're playing. Yeah. That's it. And you still have that roster. They didn't make any changes, but they didn't need to because this team is just so damn good.
No, they didn't. And they're our number 1 team.
Yeah.
For a reason. And everybody's got them somewhere. Top 1 or 2.
They are 1 or 2 in just about every power ranking across the board, and for a reason.
Yeah, because they're the best.
Yeah.
But that is going to do it. So, thanks guys for joining us, and thanks for all your support, all the likes, subscribes. Don't forget, full episode downloads are now available on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and whatever you have your pod picker upper thing, your podcast snatcher app or whatever picks up the apps for you.
Podcast Snatcher 3000.
Yeah.
Stitcher, I think, is one.
Whatever you stick in your snatch. Anyway, demonetized.
Yeah. Not that we were getting
Not that we were getting monetized anyway. Anyway,
but hey guys, subscribe to the channel. Even if you're listening on podcast, go to our YouTube, give us a subscribe. Subscribe on whatever. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter.
Because guess what, guys? Stuff. Next week it's live, man.
Yep.
We are going, and we're going to have some stuff to start off the season with. Might get some special stuff going on the first night because I'm off.
Nice.
I have to work, I very well could be streaming or watching the matches on and be in Discord with you guys. We'll talk about them and see what's going on. But that's the Power Rankings for our first Power Rankings of the season. Thanks a lot, guys. We will talk to you later.
Catch you guys on the next one. Later.